Hi loves! So I know it's been a really long time since I've uploaded any videos, but I did want to come back on here to make more, and I figured I'd go ahead and show you one of the very first steps that I start doing when it comes to my full face makeup routine. So the very first thing that I do is take the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the shade Chocolate, and I'm basically using this as a guide to underline the bottom of my brow where I don't have much hair growing and creating definition there so that I could start mapping out the rest of the brow and have it come together. So after outlining the bottom portion of the brow, I like to create an arch where I wish it would grow in naturally, and I basically just use very short strokes of the pencil to create the appearance of a fuller brow, especially where I don't have much hair growing and where there are many sparse areas. And after all of that, I like to take the spoolie end of the brow wiz and just comb through the hair just to make sure that the product is being evenly distributed throughout the entire brow. And next I start filling in the rest of the brow just to darken up the overall appearance of it with some Maybelline eyeshadow in the shade Nutmeg. I'm using a Anastasia Beverly Hills No. 12 brush to lightly pick up some of that eyeshadow and just fill in the rest of the brow with it. I'm focusing the majority of the product on the tail end of the brow and the bottom of the brow where I initially outlined it, and just keeping the inner corner of the brow relatively soft. After filling in my brows, I go in with just a simple Covergirl stick concealer, and after wiping off that same brush that I used to fill in my brows, I just start to define the entire brow itself, beginning with the bottom portion of it. So after carving out the bottom of the brow, I like to go back in with that concealer where the arch of my brow is and just clean up any mistakes that I made and make the lines pretty crisp and clean and just create definition all throughout the entire brow. And if I may have taken away any product with that concealer, then I just add it back where it needs to be. After all that, I like to take a spoolie again and comb through all the brow hairs just to make sure that everything is filled in where I want it to be. Then I like to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel and set the brow hairs in place. So I do that by combing them upwards in the front and then upwards and to the side towards the middle and end of the brow, and just laying the hairs where I want them to stay throughout the entire day. And after setting all the hairs in place, this is what the final result looks like. I hope this process doesn't seem too repetitive, but I'm also going to show you how I fill in the other brow, only because the shape is so completely different from the first one. So instead of trying to create two perfectly identical and symmetrical eyebrows, because they are definitely not even sisters, I just work with the shape that they are naturally and begin again by outlining the bottom portion just to map out the shape, and then I work upwards towards creating the illusion of an arch and filling in the areas where I don't have much hair growing at all. This makes the overall shape look much more full and defined than it actually is. Then I'm going to go back in with the eyeshadow that I used previously, just to make everything darker and more defined. And again, I'm not too concerned with how messy I may have been with the application of the eyeshadow because I'm going to go back in and clean things up with concealer. I always make sure to blend the concealer in with my skin, either with my finger or with the brush that I'm using at the time, just to make sure that I'm not left with any harsh lines afterwards. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't have much brow hair growing towards the top of the brow and especially where the arch is, so with the clear brow gel, I just brush the hairs upwards and lay them in place where I would want the brow hairs to be growing naturally. I find that using this method really brings the entire look together because I'm able to make it appear as though my natural brow hairs and the shape that I created with the Brow Wiz are coming together as one cohesive look. So this is what everything looks like when I'm done with the entire process. I really hope that you enjoyed this and found it to be helpful in some way. Thank you so much for watching, and please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to see more videos if you haven't done so already. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.